Stress is something that we have all experienced. It's in many different ways and many different kinds. During this presentation, while creating it, I underwent some kinds of stress. However, stress is the body's natural reaction. It causes the body to flood with hormones that prepares its systems to either evade or confront danger. This is called the fight, flight, and freeze mechanisms. However, currently the most stressed out generation is Generation Z. Gen Z, currently the ages between 12 to 27, have went under a lot of stress. Current adolescents are experiencing continued stress, whether for schooling reasons, like seen in this image, or otherwise. Good afternoon, my name is Isabel Mendez. During this presentation, I will be answering the question, does prolonged stress affect the functions of the brain in teenagers slash adolescents? My answer to this and my argument is prolonged stress does affect the functions of adolescents' brains, as it can cause detrimental effects on its structure and functions if not dealt with. Some of the effects of prolonged stress in adolescents are memory, and it can influence mental health. According to Sheff et al., there's a strong association between chronic stress and psychopathology in adolescents, with stress linked to depression, anxiety, and other internalizing and externalizing issues. An example of a person whose mental health could have been affected by their stress was Simone Biles. According to The Athletic, Simone Biles was at the top of her field during the Tokyo Olympics up until she had to drop out due to mental health reasons. Before she dropped out, she was the lead in her field. This stress about both balancing her mental health and her gymnastics career was heavy. Another effect of prolonged stress was its reduction of hippocampal volume. The hippocampus is involved with memory, learning, and emotions. Stress affects this by impairing its tasks and memory. Lastly, another effect of prolonged stress is its effects in adulthood. This image is from the American Psychological Association. On this side, you can see the stress level adults have. The dark blue is the past month, which is 5.1, and the lighter blue is the healthy level, 3.6. On this side, however, you've seen teens, and while they have a healthy stress level of 3.9, they have, in the past month, they experienced 4.6, which is harsher, and during school months, they receive 5.8. Teen stress levels increase during school months. As you can see on the bottom, it says 34% of teens predict their stress levels to increase in the next year. According to the APA, teens report their stress levels during the school year exceeds what they believe to be healthy. 5.8 versus 3.9 on a 10-point scale. And tops adults' average reported stress levels. While adolescents are thought to have the same thought processes as adults, our brains are still developing, meaning that the effects can be difficult and detrimental. This image represents the levels of alcoholic dependence, and it uses alcohol usage in adolescent stress, and it was based on reward. On the top, you see reward anticipation and reward outcome. During the reward anticipation up here, higher levels of problematic alcohol usage was associated with reduced responses in medial prefrontal cortex. And as you can see up here, it's different from down here in location. According to Kasman et al., the medial prefrontal cortex is response to reward statistically mediated the relationship between stressful life events and problematic alcohol usage. One interpretation of this is that stress during adolescence can dampen the control mechanisms that help regulate alcohol-motivated behavior. This means that since the medial prefrontal cortex regulates motivation, when stressed, it diminishes the control that regulates the motivation for alcohol and increases the likelihood of alcohol usage as an adult. To continue, this image shows two different scans from two different people. This scan is from a person who had normal stress levels, and this scan is from a person who had chronic stress levels. While you may not be able to notice the differences, both scans have slight differences. In this image, you can see the reduction of gray matter. The gray matter is the red. In many areas, gray matter is responsible for processing information. For example, if you look in this image, there's different spots of red than in this one. According to Josh Sisler and Ryan Harenga, structural brain structures show reduction of gray matter in the ventromedial prefrontal cortex. This means diminished functions in networks of brain involving decision-making, memory, and social cognition, and emotions, as the ventral prefrontal cortex involves those functions. Furthermore, as I said before, as I previously mentioned, you can also see hippocampal reduction in this area of the brain. As you see, this area has more gray matter than this one. The best solution I found to fix this issue is the practice of mindfulness. Such examples are meditation, yoga, exercise, and sleep. However, there are some limitations to this, as time can be an issue if you don't have enough time to meditate or do yoga or exercise, as that's probably the reason why you are being stressed. And health conditions are another, as some people aren't able to exercise or do such activities. According to the Holtzell study, participation in an 8-week mindfulness course, stress reduction MBSR program, was associated with changes in gray matter concentration in brain regions involving learning and memory processes, as well as emotional regulation. The study provides evidence that practicing mindfulness can be beneficial in reversing and improving the effects of stress. This proved that mindfulness was a good way and can help those with prolonged stress in adolescence. Thank you.
Good. All right, 2 questions for you. First up, what evidence did you gather that you didn't use, and why did you decide not to use it?
I gathered a lot of information on PTSD and how those stress responses influence adolescents. However, for this presentation, I thought it was unnecessary as it didn't connect with the other information.
And if you had more time, what additional research would you do on this topic?
I would do more research on other possible solutions. As I said previously, some people aren't able to practice mindfulness.
You're done, Bree.